Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on live stream music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, coming again today, you're very, very welcome. I trust you enjoyed my last little look at a couple of Christmas songs. I heard the bells on Christmas Day, and then do you hear what I hear? See, no. Listen to what I say. And certainly both of those songs are a bit of a call for peace in this world. So I trust you found that one encouraging as we look for peace in our own lives. Well, we're going from there to 1960 in Ballarat, Victoria. And what happens in Christmas Eve in Australia, in Melbourne, is the Melbourne Carols by candlelight. Now, this is a much loved Australian cultural iconic institution. And to actually be asked to sing consistently, year by year, in Melbourne, means that you are very well respected in the industry. And this guy well and truly does get asked year by year to come back. This guy is the ultimate in the operatic leading man. This guy is a well-loved Australian treasure. And so you can't do a series called Life Reflections Through Music without looking at David Hobson. Now, David was born in Ballarat, Victoria in 1960. When you think about Ballarat, 100 years earlier, we had the gold rush, and so quite an affluent town. It's a town just outside of Melbourne, and certainly in the AFL world, with people from Adelaide that travel to Melbourne to see a game of the Crows. It's kind of the unofficial Crows town of Victoria. So Ballarat, absolutely. David, as most people, I think a lot of artists actually get their start in churches singing with choirs. And there's a lot of good training about singing a part, singing some nice songs, some sacred songs, learning to sing together. There's something really awesome about learning in church choirs. But David thought, hey, I want to do a little bit more than that. I'm going to actually performance in local music groups as well, because it was pretty well identified fairly early on. This guy didn't just have an incredible tenor voice. It's very unique. It's a very unique tenor voice, this one. He just seems to be able to get that just a little bit higher quite effortlessly. When he was studying at the University of Melbourne, in fact, he actually was singing in rock bands, and he was playing bass guitar. So, to be able to play bass in a band is pretty good. The bass provides the drive and very much in sync with the drum kit. But 1986, the Victoria State Opera Company thought, hang on a minute, David, you've got a pretty unique voice. Can you come please understudy for us with a key role? And then in 1990, around that time too, he started to get a key role as the lead in La Boheme. Now, he would reprise that role in 1993, and we've got a live version of him singing a very young version of David Hobson here in La Boheme. David's also given his talent to compositions, including composing an opera for the very tragic Macbeth story. This is William Shakespeare. If you've ever read Macbeth all the way through, man, it really is really a bit of a... It's quite a tragic story, and it gets very fast-paced towards the end. But enter the iconic Pirates of Penzance, Gilbert and Sullivan. This is all about pirates. Of course, I've already talked about John English and his role as a pirate king. Well, David Hobson really truly hit his mark as one of the crew in Pirate Penzance. And here we've got the iconic, very well known with Catlight Tread. We've got a live performance of him in the troupe here. The camera does focus on him a couple of times, which is pretty good. 100 performances in 10 months. Have a think about that for a minute. 10 performances a month. It's quite a lot when you think about it. And there's just, as well as also and performing all the way around the country of Australia as well. Now, if you don't know about Australia too much, it takes a long time to get from one place to another, particularly when you might be doing it on the road. The 100 performances in 10 months are very well loved performance of that one. David Hobson's got a very, very unique voice, and that is he, because of his extra, I suppose, tweak up the top. And you'll see, particularly in a little while, where that tweak becomes really, really important. He has done a range of operas over the centuries, all the way from Baroque, which is where the hors contra tenor tone came from. So he can go all the way, very, very way back to that kind of era. Of course, you can do classical music, romantic music, and even 20th century music. When you ask David Hobson to be your lead in a particular performance, you know you've got top shelf, top notch, total professional performance coming your way night after night after night. David Hobson is the ultimate in Australian tenors. But as you can see in a couple of minutes, he's also been asked year after year after year after year to come back to the Melbourne Carols by candlelight. Now we've got a couple of performances here. I think where I want to go with David Hobson today too, and I think I hinted on this a little bit when I did Bob Dylan, whose voice is nothing like David Hobson's, but as we know, an iconic songwriter. When he and a couple of the Rolling Stone mates got on stage in Live Aid and did Blowing in the Wind, the world stood still. And I think this is where I want to go today with David Hobson too, and that is when one of the songs that David will sing at Melbourne Carols by candlelight is The Holy City. Now, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, lift up your voice and sing. But Jerusalem, as we know, is more than just a city in Israel. And actually part of it on the West Bank as well, particularly the old part of it. It's a philosophical, cultural, spiritual significance of the city, which is being called out here. It's a song of hope. It's a song of peace. It's a song of redemption as well. And so you just know at some point in the Melbourne Carols night, you're going to have Marina singing "Angels We Have Heard on High." Absolutely. Someone's going to sing "O Holy Night." And David will be singing The Holy City. Now, when the name is announced and the song is announced, Australia holds its breath. There's a quiet anticipation, a quiet expectation that we're just going to get lost in this song and this voice. The moments when the world pauses, those moments, where there might be a deep resonance with a group of people. You might all be at a bonfire and you're just appreciating the stillness. Or when you're in the arms of your beloved and the world has disappeared. And as Bob Dylan found when he sang "Blowing in the Wind" at Live Aid in 1985, the world stood still. It's almost stopped revolving for a while. When David Hobson comes out and sings "The Holy City," Australia and those that tune into Melbourne Carols, and I think the reputation of Melbourne Carols certainly has grown over the last few years, and many are around the world watching this now, because you can, of course. But it's almost like all of Australia just stops. This is the power of performances such as this one. And that is that for just a brief amount of time, the struggles and the strife and the differences that we have, we find unity and resonance with each other. And certainly, I know if you think about the words of the Holy City, second verse talks about the cross appearing. Well, that's obviously dealing with the crucifixion of Jesus at that particular verse, but then the hope that brings. Um, the song becomes more than just a song. The song and the singer are one. And the invitation is for all of us to participate in that oneness, in that unity of that moment. As the breeze just gently caresses each person, the candles are alight, all the stuff that happens at Carols by candlelight. But David, I believe, knows and understands the power of this song and just the expectation of this performance. And so he really, really delivers it. So there are so many recordings on YouTube of David Hobson singing The Holy City. I thought I'd go to 2014 and grab that recording there. David at this point is 54 years old, well, around about there somewhere. And so for him to know the power of this particular moment in time is pretty good. So you've got to have a live version of him singing The Holy City. Can I encourage you, as you listen to this, as you watch it, just pause and think, yes, it's going to go for 3-4 minutes. 3-4 minutes. Just stop and pause. This is the invitation of this song. Move forward to 2020. So Melbourne Carols was faced with a predicament, and that was, well, hey, we can't get together. But this song is such a well-loved Australian institution. What are we going to do? Well, we can't have people, can we? But we can still bring the orchestra, not the choir this time, but the orchestra and some lead artists. Actually, the choir, when you look at this particular clip, the choir is actually the other way. All socially distanced, which is what was needed in 2020, and Melbourne particularly got hit quite hard with COVID, and so lockdowns were a bit of a thing, a regular thing in Melbourne. So here we've got David Hobson, Marina and Silvie Paladino together singing "Come Sing a Song of Joy." Of course, this song was based on Beethoven's 5th Symphony. I think it was Beethoven's 9th. Oops. And that last movement where we've got choirs and orchestras together. So those three together, probably the three best voices of this particular genre in Australia. So to see these three singing these together, "Come Sing a Song of Joy," is pretty cool. And it's well and truly capturing a moment in time for Australia that was struggling like the rest of the world was. So you're going to get a live version of that in there as well. Between 1989 and 2011, there's been 7 DVDs reflecting David Hobson's operatic career as, again, the penultimate leading man. And between 1999 and 2023, there's actually been 18 albums that David's been part of as well. So he has had a pretty amazing career, and Australia has well and truly adopted him as one of our favourite sons. So I had to give this guy a bit of a go. I suppose inspired by the last clip where I saw him, one of the clips of him with a young lad singing "Do You Hear What I Hear?" I thought, well, David Hobson needs a bit of a video all of his own. So it's great to pull him out and to give him a tribute today. So the links to those 4 clips are in the description below, and I've also included my last video from the Christmas song, "Do You Hear What I Hear?" Well, if this is your first time to Life Reflections through Music, or you've come back for another one, how great to see everybody here. Well, that's it for today. Next time we're going to get on to a much loved songstress in Australia, Julie Anthony. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.